Hey guys, what's going on? Whitley Jane here, and I am so excited because today I'm actually recording a live episode of the Get Inspired show. So just to give everybody sort of a heads up as to what we're talking about today. We are talking about, sorry, I'm totally like distracted right now trying to hook up this trying to get this tech all going so I can get my boy onto the live, because I'm doing a live interview with somebody who lives in my city and is creating a big movement right now with everything that's happening in the world, all the racism and inequality, how he took one message for his kids and it's like taking it to the masses right now. And I know that so many of you are feeling that call to like stand up and speak up and to basically like stand up with your message of your own that's going to help the world right now. But I also know there's so many fears and there's so many doubts that we have, that all of us have. And I really just want to have this conversation and have Andrew come on and share his experience of how he went from sharing a message to like going viral and creating this movement over just a few weeks, essentially. So just bear with me right now. I'm going to try to get him in here so that I can add him. So your viewers now, this is okay. Let's see, this is a thing. This is not pre-recorded, so I can't edit stuff out of this. This is live. And again, I can't seem, I tested this yesterday too, and it worked perfect. It worked perfectly fine with the other person that I tested it with. Okay, now, Andrew, why are you not popping up, sir? Let's see. I can invite other people, but it seems like I can't. Let's see. Requests. Ooh, okay. You know what? I feel like there is perhaps a setting with Andrew's Facebook settings that doesn't allow him to jump onto a live with me, because I can add in Jen if I wanted to. It's saying I can add Jen in, but I don't know why it won't let me add you. Oh, you sent me a... Got it. Fingers crossed. Hey, we did it.
Okay, so first of all, can you hear me? All right, so man, I was trying with my laptop.
Okay. You can't do it with your
laptop, man.
Okay. Hey, I didn't know that. I did not know that. So thank you.
This is better anyway, because I can do my thing. I can kind of do like one of these.
Awesome. Well, hey, you're here, and that's what matters. Okay. So I'm just gonna do a quick intro, because even though we're live, this will be recorded as well to go out onto my other platforms. So all right, so welcome everybody to this week's episode of the Get Inspired show. This week is a really special topic, and I'm really excited to bring this to you guys, because right now in the world, I feel like we need change makers. We need people standing in their power. We need people standing in their own authentic selves and speaking up and letting their messages or their voice be heard, to contribute to the changes that are happening across the globe right now, because there's so much inequality that we've experienced over, centuries. Like, it's just like since the world's exist, because of some events, tragic events that have happened over these last weeks and months leading up to this. I feel like across the globe, people are now listening. And so we really need people rising up and speaking up to contribute to the changes in the world. And I know that that can be scary. I know that it's scary to be vulnerable. It's scary to put your message out there. It's scary to like speak your truth, because we all have this fear of judgment. We have this fear of rejection. We have this fear of like not getting it right, or failing. And it's normal. It's so normal. And my friend here today, Andrew Holmes, also like Andrew, we go like way back since middle school. It's crazy. But he started off, he had a message, and he started with a social media post. It was a video to his kids, and that video just went viral. And he's now has the Love Over It movement, was just like taken off by storm. It's insane. And people are listening. People are listening. People are standing with him. And it's just like, it's incredible how one message that you feel in your heart and everything within you that is like comes from that place of love, and when you just like push the fear aside and you say, hey, I'm showing up and I'm doing it anyways because I know it's the right thing to do, and I know that it's going to help, what can happen and what's possible and how you can truly impact other people's lives in this world. So I'm so excited to have Andrew share his time with us here today, and to leave you with, to be inspired, that essentially this is what the show is all about. It's helping you get inspired to take action in your life. And so I know that Andrew's story is going to definitely get you inspired today. So without further ado, welcome, Andrew.
Thank you.
Like, I wish I had like clap in, like, woo!
I did a live video not long ago, and I was doing it by myself. I was the only one in the room because COVID, and I had in the background, I had on YouTube a clapping noise. So every time I wanted an applause, I applauded myself.
I love it. It's awesome. So Andrew, tell us about this, like how this all started, because I want to talk a little bit about obviously the Love Over It movement that's, kind of like taken off. But like, first, can we back up and just say, like, how did it all start? Like, tell us about the message in the video that you made.
Sure. Okay, so really everything started. First of all, we're living in a time where the conversation about racism is heightened, and that's been very difficult for a lot of people. And I've been getting, emotions about it, and I'm kind of getting confused too. It's like, am I angry? Am I sad? Am I scared? What am I feeling? And a lot of it too is thinking, okay, well, this is happening far away. This isn't a Canadian problem. Yes, I understand racism here, but all the dramatics and the heightened anger and action is really happening in the States. But then there was some actions that took place here close to home in New Brunswick, where there was, a white man made some comments to some black protesters, and I was like, wow, like that's pretty aggressive. And this is like a 5-minute video. I'm sure you may have seen it. And this guy, he was, verbally attacking this group of people, saying just the worst things. So I didn't like that, and I'm somebody who tends, like, I try to be encouraging, I try to help people. And when I first saw that, I was thinking, like, what would my kids do if they were to experience this? How would they handle that? Now, my daughter's 4, my son's a year and a half, and I was thinking, I don't know what I'm going to say to them, but I need to say something. And I want to say it today because, one, I may not get the chance to say it for whatever reason. 2, it's very real right now, so I might as well like give my raw emotion for what's happening. And 3, maybe my advice helps someone. I don't know. So I literally come in this room and I just start recording this video. And the video was basically the advice that whatever the situation is, predominantly in this case, racism, that you need to take that situation and you need to love over it. I don't know why I said that. I said love over it. You need to understand that people are coming at you sometimes from a misunderstood place, from a place where they're trying to beat you down, they're trying to change, how you're seen or what your value is. But just understand that people are lost, they're broken for whatever reason, and not to take what they say as face value, and to love over that situation and place value on yourself. So I said that. I created a 4-minute video. I shared it. People got behind it, and they really liked that. It was a way that they could remain encouraged through such a challenging time. So since then, I made a few other videos. So without getting into how those videos went, the next thing that kind of happened, leading up to this T-shirt thing that I've got going on. I one day was sitting with my wife having dinner, and I just released these videos. It's like 2 or 3 days later, and I said to her, I said, "This is kind of cool. Like people are really buying these videos. Like they're into this encouragement. I'm happy to be helping people." I said in my first video, I talked about love over it. Like that was just the theme for whatever reason. I don't even know where it came from. And I said that'd be super cool to like put on some shirts. She's like, "Yeah, that would be cool." And honestly, from that point, I didn't even think about it any further because I'm like, you know what, I could do that, but the energy to put into it, I'm not gonna be able to find that. So anyway, not the next day, the day after that, I had a gentleman that knew my family, but I didn't really know him that well. He reached out to me and he said, "Hey man, like I want to help you put your message on." I don't know. First of all, he said, "I love your message. I want to help you put that on some T-shirts." And he sends me this weird selfie like this, and he's got a shirt on it that says "love over," and then all these different words. So I was super moved by that because something I wanted to do. It kind of solidified that my thoughts or my suggestions were making an impact because now it's on a shirt. Yada yada yada. So anyway, to fast forward a whole bunch, we met that day and we agree. He wanted to give me 4 shirts with my saying, and I said, "Okay, listen, dude, you can do that, but if you do that, my whole family's gonna want some shirts. So we might as well set up a form and like let people like pay for them or something, and like we'll get the shirts going." So we did. I did it that night. I announced we were gonna make shirts that night, just on my Facebook. Said, "Hey, we're having shirts made." You fast forward 11 days. This shirt is born. I have a logo that I created. There you go. Was created. 11 days go by. We end up having orders for over 300 shirts, $30 a pop.
Wow.
That's $9,000 in shirts we sold. We have social channels that my Facebook has over 1,100 people on it. There's over tens of thousands of views on my videos, the ones I was just referring to. Just a lot, and I'm missing a ton of detail. I'm not going to go into all the details, but the things that were happening every like day were just blowing my mind. To the point, anyway, it's just completely just grown on its own, and I have no plans of stopping. I want to see what more I can do. So also that money that we sold, of the profits, we're going to be able to donate some of those to some significant charities in this area. So yeah, it's been a thing.
That's incredible. So incredible. Like, and you said, like, in 11 days, it went from being an idea to, like you said, like
Yeah,
300, 300 shirts were sold.
way more now. Yeah, it was like, so we had a cutoff date of like that Sunday, so we had like the sale on for like 4 days with this design and then the other design. And in those days, we sold like 90 shirts, which was I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. He was like, I wasn't really sure how many shirts he could handle because again, I don't know the full operation. I was making quick decisions here. And I'm just like, hey, just so you know, people want shirts, people want shirts. So anyway, we had a cutoff, and then the next day, people still wanted shirts, and I was like, I can't say no, I can't deny this message, right? So I'm like, hey, Gary, just so you
Mm-hmm.
know, shirts are coming, orders are coming, and they just kept going. So we got really lucky because while shirts were being ordered, people wanted shirts primarily for the Black Lives Matter rally. So I'm kind of a big thing happened in the middle that's pretty significant. I had a call from a huge print supplier in the area, Plasticraft. It's a JDI company. I have some friends that work there. They called and they said they wanted to help out by taking over the print process. They wanted to help create a website and they wanted to print and ship all of our product for us at no cost. So I had this conversation from the beginning it was a half-hour conversation. In that conversation, I agreed to all of that because I had no time to get in there, see their process, all that. I just said, just do it and we'll figure it out. I don't care about cost, nothing. I wanted to do that so we had more shirts for the rally. We ended up giving out over 100 shirts from the 12 we thought we were going to have for the rally, and it's just been great ever since.
It's amazing. It's, you know, and I feel like it's amazing how when we do something, when we're inspired to act on something, and I know that people can know what I mean is like when you get that idea or something that just really fires you up. That's what I mean by inspired, like action. And when you take that action, how the universe almost like works in your favor, how everything just sort of like flows, like doors open up, people, the right situations, everything just kind of like all line up for you when you take action on those inspired ideas.
Yeah, man, like nothing happens without action. Like if I were to sit there and just make some just like hum and haw over, is this the right thing? Do I have time? Nothing would have been possible. Now, at the same time, as I was getting into it, I was like getting into some roadblocks, but then the next day, that roadblock will be met. Like, for example, before I got that big print supplier to call me, I was placing orders manually. It was taking me an hour to place 10 orders manually, right? I don't have an hour to give for that. So I was like, how am I going to do this? I need these shirts out there, so I'm not going to stop, but I don't have the time. The next day he calls. He says, I'm going to take over the whole process for you. So I took a leap of faith and said, I'm going to handle this. I got kind of in over my head, but the next day that problem was solved. I actually ended up crying on the boardwalk because I was in the middle of a run when they called me. And I'm like, you're answering all my problems right with this one call. And that's just the way it works. When you move, things happen. And the thing is, the weird thing is, so like in that 11 days, because things were moving so quickly, like almost twice a day, I was hit with an objection, like something that would come in my way. And I'd be like, okay, this could stop the whole thing. But I moved over it. And the thing is that like when I first started, I said there's nothing going to get in my way. Like it's all in your position and how you posture yourself. And I said, as we move through that, my goal is to get as many shirts as I can to as many people as I can for this rally. So I'm up, like nothing's going to stop that. That was just the way my had to set my mind up. So literally twice a day, every day, I was hit with a huge obstacle, something that would be extremely uncomfortable for me. But because I made that decision up front, I literally had to face that fear and just put it aside. The goal of getting this message in front of more people was way bigger than whatever fear, whatever challenge I had that at that time. I had to just suck it up, move right in the direction of being uncomfortable, figure it out, and just keep moving. And like without like having God's grace on that or whatever, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But it was just the posture I had. The fear didn't matter. I had to move right past it.
It's amazing. So like what do you think is what's your why right now, Andrew? What's that thing that just is like driving you and motivating you to like think like that and to get
so I start this, right? And it's for my kids. This is literally a message for my kids. I'm like, maybe they'll see it actually I'm gonna make them watch it someday. But I put the video and my kids will see it. But people start seeing it and I'm like, here's it's kind of a sad thing. I put this out there, this message of loving over it, applying love to the situation, being happier, being nicer. I put this out there, and everyone's like, "Holy, whoa, this is big stuff." And I'm like, "This shouldn't be that strange. Like, being nice to people should not be a foreign concept." But everyone's talking about like, "Wow, this is really positive, nice, good stuff," right? So I'm like, "Okay, I'll keep doing it. I'll keep helping people." But what's happening is that as I'm sharing these videos or as they're being shared on like social media and people are
right. You've been doing a lot more videos since then. Since that initial video you did, you've been doing so many more videos since then, right,
man,
Andrew?
like yeah, because like I can do this all day. I can talk about this, you know what I mean? Like being happy and loving yourself and loving others. I can do that all day. So yeah, I'm on like part like 4 or released earlier today. So like I just have this series now. I'll probably venture off into something else eventually, but yeah, I'm doing these, and at the time of the things really starting to like heighten. I had 2 pizzas out, and without getting into detail about them, as they're out there and they're kind of circulating around, people are messaging me People are telling me that these videos are like changing their perspective, and people are telling me they mended relationships with other people, like that they had grudges with. People are telling me that they saw this situation this way and now they see it that way. People are telling me that they understand racism a little bit. Like, people are telling me these things. People are coming up to my mother and being like, "You're mess," like, and like getting into tears about what I had said. Now, like, the interesting thing is, like, the things that I'm sharing, they aren't like they aren't unique. Like, I can't take credit for any of this stuff. This is just the messages that I'm getting from like the Bible and other places. Like, I listen to a lot of like Christian podcasts. This is just my take on it, and I'm just putting it out in that position. Like, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Those type of things. I'm just doing that, but it's working. So now my motivation is like, hey, there's a whole group of people out there that like see the world in a negative light, or go straight to anger, or like don't like this person for that reason, or like whatever. And I'm like, man, I turned to loving
Yes.
everyone like 5 years ago through the church, but like just on a bare minimum, like figuring out how to love the situation, love people, be positive. My life's been better. So I'll just keep telling you what I see. And if it helps you, then that's
Hmm.
it. So that's my go, man. Like, if I can just keep helping people be better, that's what we're gonna do.
That's your motive.
I'll
That's your
do that.
why. I
I'll
love
do that
that.
forever.
I
My
think
what? Just to clarify too, my what? Like, they were selling these T-shirts. I'm not. I don't care about T-shirts. I don't. I care that it's in front of people's faces. That's cool, really cool. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to like share content. I'm trying to share positive messaging, and all this shirt is another piece of content from me. It's just another way to say, love your neighbor, love yourself.
yeah. Yeah, I love that. And that was like the key piece too in that message of your initial video, which was to like love yourself and to know that anybody who's judging other people, the other people, like people who are mean to other people, like there's just something that's broken in them. And all you can do is send love their way. Because getting angry, lashing back, fighting, it doesn't help, it doesn't change. And you're not measured, your worth is not measured by the opinion of somebody else or what they say. It all really comes within you. And I think it's such a strong and powerful message because I speak this
Mm-hmm.
message all the time and have been. And I've gone through the journey myself where I went from not loving myself to loving myself and, looking outside of myself for that validation, that approval. And I feel like there's just so many of us in this world that are doing that and aren't loving ourselves fully. And so it's like we have to kind of go within and give ourselves that worth, give ourselves that love and approval, right? Because nobody else is going to give it to us. But ultimately, it's like I love your messaging, love over it, I love it, like it's so on point, and it's amazing how you've been able to navigate yourself through something that was totally unplanned, just like thrown at you pretty much, and you just like you commit it, you're like, I'm going to do this no matter what. And it's amazing to see that you are the example of what is possible when you speak out from your heart and you share that message that you have inside of
Oh
you.
yeah, and like, man, talking about like being like real with yourself, or like being confident in yourself, or like seeing your own value. Like, okay, first of all, through this process, I've been extremely vulnerable, put in situations like, I posted a video where I was
Mm-hmm.
bawling on because I wanted to get them. I didn't care about how I was portrayed, because like, I don't care if you see me crying on social media. Like, that doesn't devalue me. I know who I am. I want you to know how real my emotions are, right? But the other thing is, speaking to like how important it is to understand. I actually just shared this video like half, but you still there?
I'm still, yeah, I think Wi-Fi connection kind of froze up a bit. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Um, so yeah, I just put a video out of talking about that specific stuff of validating yourself, loving yourself, not looking to the outside world. So I use this example, a very recent example. So I heard recently that there was people or a person that said that I was fake and selfish, and it was in context to what I've been doing. So I went on to explain that when I first heard that, my initial reaction was I laughed. My initial reaction was not anger. My initial reaction was, who did that? Who said that? Where are you at? My initial reaction wasn't to spend any time in even trying to correct that at all. So what I thought, what it was that I know I'm not fake. I know I'm being very real, and I know I'm not selfish. So the only reason someone could maybe think that is that they have this really wrong perception of me based on something. Or maybe you knew me like 10 years ago, and like your best memories of me, or the most relevant memories of me, are like when I'm being a young drunk idiot at the bar, or maybe I stole something when I was a kid, and maybe I hurt your feelings out of context, or whatever. Or maybe I cursed too much, or I cursed you out, or whatever, right? Like all these things, okay? Which very possible. I'm not perfect. Those are things that I've done all those things. So then you see you this is who Andrew is. He's a drunken idiot. He curses people out. Eats too much fast food. Whatever, right? Label me what you want. So they got this. They got this. This is who Andrew is. And then they see me doing this stuff, crying on freaking social media, talking all this positivity, talking about how life is good if you love everyone. And it's like, nah, man, that guy's out here. He's cussing people out. Like he's not cool at all. So I can understand where the gap is. I don't hold that against you. Of course, you think that, right? The selfish thing you don't really get is
Right.
like I give away all my time, and I don't care about that. But my point is, I know who I am. But if I spend even a second trying to well, geez, am I selfish? Am I fake? Like, no, there's no point in that. Even going
Mm,
I'm not even gonna try to call that person up and be like, how dare you? Don't care. I I may if it happens that I come across a person that says it to my face, I'd love to have a conversation with you and be like, man, why do you think that? Like that's really really strange that you think that. I don't think that of myself, but what are you seeing? Also,
mm,
if you're seeing that, and this is what's really interesting. So I think of myself as someone who's out there, positive, not selfish. I think of myself that way. And other people do too because they're telling me this, right? So then we have this one person who thinks Andrew Holmes is fake and Andrew Holmes is selfish. We have one person out of the last 100 people that message you. One person. How how messed up is the world in their eyes if someone like me is a bad person? You know what I mean? Like I'm
mm,
very forward with
mm.
how positive I am. I can't help but be positive. It's annoying to people. That's how positive I am, how optimistic I am. You know what I mean? But this person is they see me in a bad light. I don't even understand that. But that sucks for them that they see even me. Like,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, that's just the posture I
I,
have.
I love that. No, and I'm happy that you shared that because I feel like especially with women, I feel like we get so hung up over if somebody says something bad about us or judges our character or says something that we're absolutely not, right? And we're like, oh my gosh, what's am I like you said, am I like that? Or why would they think that? And it's hurtful for some, right? So I'm glad that you said that because you're right. The only opinion that should matter is the opinion that you have of
Yeah.
yourself. Your perception of yourself is what truly
But it
matters,
has to
right?
be strong. It's something you have to you kind of have to build up. Like if there's some if what they say does strike a chord and you're like, I am kind
Mm-hmm.
of fake. Well, it probably struck a
Mm-hmm.
chord because you don't want to be perceived that way, and you think that deep down that you might
Right.
actually be fake. So maybe you can take that and check it, right? Maybe but don't let it define you.
I like that. Don't let it define you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. So I know sort of what's been What's been like your biggest fear? Like, have you, like, obviously you've had fears throughout this whole entire experience. The only difference is like you're just pushing past them regardless. So like, what are some of those fears that you've had like throughout these last few weeks, Andrew?
Okay, so my fear of I didn't really have a fear of like it failing because relatively there was really nothing to fail. It was just like I didn't put like a big investment in it or anything like that, so that's fine. Um, I was afraid of the orders not getting out in time. I was always afraid of it becoming such a big project that it takes up too much of my time. The problem with being really like passionate about things and like being a doer or whatever is that I love my work. I love what I do.
Yes.
So sometimes that can like not like it just can take a lot of your time, right? So I'm like, well, this is gonna be a really interesting situation. If I am forced to spend 3 hours a day on top of my day job, on top of all the other things I got to do, and make time for this because I'm so committed to it. How does it affect my family?
Right.
How does it whatever? So again, thank the Lord, I've been blessed with this partner plus I have to take. So those are the type of things that I've been afraid of for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think that's a pretty like realistic fear too, right? But as you said, you've kind of just like surrendered and let go and just kind of like trust and had faith, and and literally everything's just kind of like flowed smoothly. So throughout this entire experience, what's been the biggest lesson for you? What's been the biggest eye opener for you?
Just how much people needed this message, man. Like people are struggling out there. And I don't say that in a way like we're all like I don't know. It just hurts to know how many people are out there just being mean to each other and being mean to themselves and how real racism is and it's misunderstood and it's all these things and the inbox, like I said, the inboxes that I get are just so eye opening. I haven't even like really been able to process all of them because they're all like I get some deep things from people. How bad people needed this message.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So what's something that
Hmm?
is still there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You could give to somebody right now who is just needing to hear your message?
Was the last part? Sorry.
What's a piece of advice that you could give to someone who needs to hear your message?
A piece of advice I would give to them.
Mm.
I always when I think of these videos or when I do these videos, I really do have my kids in mind. So like, how am I going to talk to my daughter, my son, and maybe more specifically my daughter, because like I know like women are going to have different challenges and I don't know what it is, but like my kids are gonna everyone faces opposition in their life and
Mm-hmm.
just don't let yourself be one of those pieces of opposition. You know what I mean? Like, don't get in your own way. There's enough shit coming at you on a constant basis. Make sure you're built up in
Yeah.
confidence so that when a bully confronts you, or a racist confronts you, or a person treats you badly, you need to have confidence and the ability to love yourself, love the situation, and even love them to move through that. Like, yeah, things hurt, and yeah, I think people are mean. Yes, 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 and you should absorb those properly. But I don't want those emotions to have a lasting effect. A quick example of that would be, the first time I ran into racism, I was like 9 years old, right? And it was really confusing. Don't know what's going on here. Why is this guy calling me these names? I don't understand, because at that point you see everybody the same. Now, if I didn't have great parents to help me understand what that meant and understand that, that kid's also 9. They don't really know what they're saying, and let's educate him on why he should be saying this. And hey, Andrew, just recognize that you are valued in this world, and you should move forward that way. If I didn't have that message from my parents at that time, that first act of racism, even let's just not even call it racism, let's call it bullying, because everybody goes through bullying at some point. That first act of bullying could turn me into a very hateful person. I could just turn away from everybody. And I don't see how anybody can go and live a fulfilling life if they have walls up everywhere they go. It's so much easier to put your wall down than it is to build your wall up. Now, I get it. People are afraid to get hurt and all that. But with the right posture, man, you're fine.
100%. I love that. It's such a beautiful piece of advice, and it's so powerful because you're right. It's just like it all comes back to us. Nobody can take our power away unless we give that permission to, right? Time is coming, but I want to make sure that I include Andrew's social media links in the comments, which I'm going to do. Anybody who has questions whatsoever, feel free, leave them in the comments, because I always love having a conversation with you guys in the comments. Really, really enjoyed this interview, Andrew. I think your message is one that really needs to be heard all across the globe. And how can people support you in your movement? What would be the best way that they can support you with the Love Over It movement?
So buying the shirts, and I know that sounds like a capitalist type, like, oh, I'm gonna line my pockets. Okay, so buying the shirts spreads the message. If you like, the message is there, right there. Love over all these things. So the more that message is out there, my hope is that the more people see it, the more that they will move into that kind of thinking. The other thing is the more shirts we have. I haven't even had a chance to really build the whole plan yet, but the plan is to move this into like an actual operation, so that first of all, if you're buying a shirt today, you're funding that future operation, and that future operation looks like an operation that is very driven on helping people raise their confidence, helping people to wear shirts that say this, helping people already. We already have that set up. Is putting this message generation that's growing up now, so they know when they're older they can help. Like just like my goal is for my daughter, you can walk through life a little more confidently, knowing how to apply love to the situation. If you buy a shirt, you're helping me do that.
I love that. And I just included the social links down below in the comments, guys, so that you can go over to the website, loveoverit.com, to support Andrew's mission and message, as well as the Facebook page is in the links or in the comment section as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode. I know we did it a little bit different, did it live, because I felt like we really needed to push this out. I wanted people to tune in. I wanted to get your message out as much as I possibly could, Andrew, because I really believe in it. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you everybody for tuning in. If you have any questions whatsoever, put them in the comments. You can reach out to me and Andrew through the social media links in the comments. With that being said, guys, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.